Corona Diary, Jerusalem. One of the odd things about the Haggadah is that the main portion of Magid, that is telling the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, and the Haggadic passages about that text, is from Deuteronomy, from Dvarim, where a person goes with his first fruits to the Kohen, and he makes a declaration, and part of that declaration is recounting what happened in Exodus. That is, part of that declaration is recounting the history of the Jewish people. As he's giving his tithe to the Kohen, he remembers back to the past. Now, what's interesting about this is that the text in Deuteronomy continues. I mean, here's just passages from it. And he went down to Egypt, forced by divine decree, and he sojourned there. This teaches that our father Jacob did not go down to Egypt to settle, but only to live there temporarily. It's interesting that each part of this text from Deuteronomy is then understood in the context of verses from Exodus as well. But you get the idea that there's this recounting of the past. In Deuteronomy itself, the story continues with, after, and we cried out to the Lord God of our fathers, and God heard our voice, and he saw our suffering and our oppression. The Lord took us out of Egypt. But it doesn't continue. The Haggadah does not continue with Deuteronomy, which is that the people enter the land of Israel. So the story that the Haggadah mentions is a kind of incomplete redemption. That is, the redemption ends with the Leidat Ha'am, which is the birth of the Jewish people. But even the settling in the land of Israel is not mentioned. So in some ways, Pesach represents a redemption that is not yet fully enacted. Of course, the redemption continues with what happens, or what we commemorate on Shavuot, that is the giving of the Torah. But there's also this sense that whatever freedom we are experiencing now is not fully realized. I think this is especially important for Pesach during the time of Corona, especially for young people, but for everybody. That is, we don't know the future. We sit down and we celebrate the Festival of Freedom, but we don't know the future. In fact, many of us may have dread about the future. The sense of especially young people, I think, who are being put in the position right now of really sacrificing not only their futures, but their presence because of what Corona demands upon them. They can't go out see their friends. They can't go to the mall. They can't get together. And that's an incredible imposition. But there's also that sense that the future is uncertain, that we don't know where we're going. We don't know what's going to happen. I think we try to displace this all day long, meaning we don't want to face that. Every now and then we feel that loneliness, we feel that sadness, we feel that dread. So leaving Egypt then does, however, allow for a certain kind of freedom. In fact, the leaving of Egypt involves the discovery of freedom, or the discovery of freedom for the Jewish people. That is the possibility of people acting freely and autonomously. So that freedom has to be exercised in different ways. We leave the bondage of Egypt and we try to find ways, even in our present, and this may even be a better realization of freedom, that is finding people around us in need. I'm a teacher, and for me, that the expression of chesed, the expression of giving to other people, of choosing to give to other people, of leaving the idolatry of selfhood or whatever other things Egypt represented, leaving that idolatry can allow us to choose freedom on the most local and most basic level. For me, again, that's teaching, reaching out to other people. And we're all, as I've been saying, we are all now teachers. We're teachers in our home, which is the hardest place to be a teacher. Let's be clear about that. We're teachers in our workplace, and we can be, if possible, we can be teachers. I mean, if we can find our voice and find a voice that other people can hear, we can be teachers for our community. So that's the choice. That's the choice of leaving Mitzrayim. It's not the full-fledged salvation or redemption. It's not completed. And in a way, this really resonates for us on Pesach. We have that freedom. It's not fully realized. We have to find a place for ourselves in this world at this time in which we can choose freedom and realize it. Great Pesach.